the conversation about the labor shortage in cleaning and facility solutions usually sounds the same. Nobody wants to work anymore. Add to that, turnover is at an all-time high. But what if the real issue is that cleaning companies are competing against entirely different industries, but powerful industries, powerful companies for the same people and losing? That's the topic we need to address with Wells Yee, and we invite him to share his thoughts in our program today.
I'm so happy to be here again with you, Jeff.
Who are cleaners really competing with?
We actually have two types of competitors. Type one is what we call direct competitor, the other cleaning company in town, right? We know that very well. Then we have indirect competitors. That is our employees' alternative. If they don't work for us, what other alternative they are looking at? That's different industry. For example, Amazon, Walmart, Target, restaurant, retail, right? So these are the things that actually present a big challenge because we are literally competing with them with the same labor pool.
Now, these are big companies, big employers. What really makes them so attractive?
Number one, I would say is their pay and benefit. Like one trend these companies are doing now is so-called next day pay, much faster payment, right? Pay rate is higher. Actually, I have some data I would like to share with you about, the pay rate. So let me just share that with you. See that this is hourly wage comparison, cleaning versus indirect competitors. Here I list janitorial nationwide was the average, okay, from 2024 to 2025. And so in maid service, janitorial 17.27, okay. For maid is 1666. But if we look at the Amazon warehouse worker, which is direct compete potentially with janitorial services and also for house cleaning services, $22 average. Walmart, 1825, still slightly higher than the janitorial. And the Target, sometimes lower when they start. Some retail, actually, we are competitive against like DoorDash driver, and so on. So to know this landscape is very important to us because we need to know that from rate perspective, many of them have advantage, but they also innovate on how fast they pay. They also innovate on benefit. Like sometimes they offer immediate benefit, when they join, when they start training, and so that will be the first one. I feel that is a uphill battle. By the way, I do feel we have solutions. I would like to share that with you on this. Another one to answer your question, where we, they have some advantage will be their. I would say that they're like if you work there, their schedule stability is huge. They are more stable sometimes, and they don't have to travel. They work in one location, and you hire them maybe full-time, part-time. Is more fixed hours. So in that regard, it's also have some advantage as well.
Now, we know that the cleaning industry is not powerless. There has to be an edge there. Can you talk about the edge that cleaning companies have and they should use to find better workers?
I would say that one advantage we can have is really understanding why we pay low and what's the cost of paying low. We can actually, by understanding that, is huge for us to understand how we can compete with their 22 versus our 17 and 16. That's one. Number two is that the larger company tend to be either we can say impersonal or a little bit rigid because to scale their policy and so on, their policy tend to be more rigid. And we are a company that, have, much more smaller, like a couple hundred to sometimes 20, even less, in the teens. So we have an opportunity to offer something they cannot offer. I would include in some flexibility, and some kind of a more impersonal leadership. Okay, more vivid. You can see, employee can feel more closer to that. And then I would say that autonomy. And so these companies measure everything, the bigger company. Even you go to bathroom, how long is it going to take, and so on. So if we have autonomy to give to our cleaning technician, which many company does, that's potentially can be another great advantage to counter that. So we do have our strengths that we can counter our disadvantage.
So let's think about this. Those watching, what can business owners and facility managers looking for good workers do right now with this topic in mind today?
So a couple of things. Number one, I would like to point out turnover. We cannot accept that kind of turnover to think that that's just, oh, it's cleaning what we can do. Okay. I must say that it's a huge tax on us, huge tax. So let me share that with you quickly about what we are talking about, how big this tax is. So what you see here is that the cost of turnover. We know that, so their direct cost of recruiting and training. So altogether is about $2,300 direct cost. Okay, $2,300. But the indirect cost, that tax is huge, like lost productivity, ramp up. You have to hire somebody, take a while to get to the full productivity, impact on customers, negative impact, revenue loss, opportunity cost. So if you add them all together, even conservatively, the number is shocking because I try to do this number very conservatively. I still get a number this big. Okay, so direct cost of turnover, $2,300 per turnover. But if you add other impact on the revenue, on your team, on everything, all the negative impact, learning, knowledge lost, and so on, 14,540. So if we know this tax, we know that you can do the math of whatever your pay differential against your competition. What if you actually beat them? Are you going to pay less of this? Will that actually, sometimes the math can work like if you pay a little bit higher, you actually come out financially better than when you pay low, because low give you a big tax, hidden tax, often hidden. People don't know, but that often costs that. So that's one big thing about counter is to understanding that the cost of low pay is huge by the hidden tax. That would be number one. Number two, I would say that we need to smartly structure our pay to compete with them. So, for example, if we cannot immediately do a very, that rate immediately, we can lay out that ladder. Like this is in Project.ai's, information about the ladder we are designing for some of our clients. Okay, so you can start with some kind of 16 trainee, then link the pay with a growth ladder with performance. It's earned. You have to have this performance in order to earn high. So in this case, you may start at 16 in training, okay, maybe even 17 after training, whatever. This number just an example, right? But people can see I can get to 24. I can get a little bit higher than Amazon, right? So if Amazon doesn't design these things, intentionally, you can actually have a good perception about pay to be competitive. So this is about real pay versus also about the hope that what my pay will be in the future. That's another one about how to design pay. Finally, another counter is that, remember, we are more flexible. They are a big company. Their rule have to be scaling to everywhere in all. So they are more rigid, right? We can take advantage of this. We are small and we are more flexible. So here we really look at our applicants in a different segment, like students, workers, working parents, career cleaners, physical work fans, right? So here we can talk to them about the benefit of the job based or design the job, provide that flexibility. If you are students, okay, I have personally talking to applicants from Target, they are very rigid. No, no, no. When you go to there, you want to do a practice of 2 weeks because your course, your degree requirement. No, we can't do that. You have to attend work at that time. No, we are embrace. Oh, we celebrate that. Oh, yeah, we want to see you successful. Yeah, when you get to there, that's about 6 months later, right? Okay, we're going to support you to get that. You can take a leave temporarily, then come back after your practice. And so we want to be flexible. We want to have that kind of a, tailored benefit communication and to our applicants so that they can actually understand this is a company who care for me. Target doesn't, but this company does. So therefore, there's a big impact on that. So to summarize, we got a pay differential, but we can design pay. First, we need to know low pay have a huge cost, the hidden tax. Number two, we can design the pay in a ladder and to manage this properly so that we can give people hope, even though you are not there immediately. Then finally, we can design our benefit, counter the rigid process, the big guys, and to offer that impersonal, personal, like an intimate, caring kind of atmosphere for your company, and people can smell that. They love that. So that will be another one. Then final one I would like to add, Jeff, is that we know our strengths and weakness. We know all this, but so therefore we have to, in the communication of recruiting, during the recruiting process, and in the training, onboarding, managing process, we should always advocate for our job. We should always, talk to a student employee, we should always talking about our willingness to customize, to support, to see her success, or to see his success and in his study. That's our goal. I want to see that for you. So always customize that benefit, gently but persistently in our advocacy in every step of this interaction process. Start from application all the way to engagement.
Okay, Wells, any final advice for those watching?
Come back to one important factor is that in order for us to have the positive cycle of have resources to treat people, attract the right people, better people, to do our amazing job, create that value for our clients, we have to have the courage to charge. We have to have the courage to charge clients, because if we don't have that confidence to do that, I understand there's a competitive environment and maybe there are lots of bidders are low, we have to deal with that, right? So, but there are ways to deal with that. But still, if we cannot charge the fair price, then we have no resource to do a lot of things we need to do. I feel that can be a major topic. We should talk about that as an industry, and so that we don't, so that we have the confidence to get the pay we deserve, and also then get the profit we deserve and the pay for our employees they deserve.